Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to Movie Film. I am Zachy Hassan. This is episode 214. Who am I with?
You're with Brian Hall.
I thought you were going to be like Jesus, Zachy. Jesus is with you always. I thought that was
Right. To the very end of the age.
it is the season, so you know.
Yeah, that's right. That's what's so weird right now is I am in a different location. I am in Tulsa, Oklahoma at my parents' place, and it snowed about 3 inches the other day.
Wow.
And so I am just completely delighted. I'm looking out my window right now, and I can just see all this snow. Most people that I've spoken with who grew up with snow, when I tell them that, they're like, ugh.
Yeah, that's me. That's you and I. We've had this conversation. I do not have an affectionate relationship with snow.
If I had to actually live in it, I know it'd be very different because I would have to go out and shovel it and deal with it. But just being here for a couple weeks and getting to walk around in it, I don't know. I love it personally.
The first time I saw snow in my life was the early part of 1992.
Oh wow! Okay.
So I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
And so that was very exciting for that brief moment, right? But it was too old to be like, hey, I'm going to make a snowman.
Right. Sure.
So it was more like, hey, here's that thing I've never seen before. That's interesting.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, and this is a lot of work.
Yeah, you know. I mean, after that, you know, it loses its appeal. I mean, it's nice, but you don't have the majesty of, wow, I've never seen this before.
Yeah, I think for me, even living out in Los Angeles for almost 20 years now, the thing that always bums me out is they always make a big deal like it's going to rain on Thursday.
Yeah.
You know, watch out, rain on Thursday.
Yeah.
And then I wake up and it's just finished raining and then it's done for the day. Like that's rain where I live.
Yeah, right.
So even when it rains into the afternoon, I get excited. So you can imagine with snow, it's that times 10.
Well, there we go. Yeah. So that was me. You know, that spring of '92 was very exciting. So yeah, you're in Oklahoma through the new year.
Just about, probably right up to the new year.
Okay.
And it's been interesting. I mean, my brother and I, we've been taking the pandemic very seriously, and so we're like, okay, we're going to quarantine for 2 weeks here, and we didn't see anybody.
Wow.
And then we drove. Oh, I was like, what is going on with my door? I was like, there's a dog here. So the dog can hear me, and there's like, please let me in. And scratching the door.
Yeah, folks, the dogs talk in Oklahoma. I don't know if you know that. This is
Yeah, right. But no, so then we got in the car, and then my brother and I were thinking, well, shoot, we put all that work in. You know, what are we going to do with like food on the road? So we just bought a ton of Crustables. You know what those are? Those frozen peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
No, I've never heard of them.
Oh, they're actually pretty good, but we just packed our own food, got in the car, and carried our bubble all the way out here. So
That's amazing.
it was a bit of work, but it was all worth it, and I'm really happy to be here. But I have a real quick story I'll tell, just because I always talk about puppy dog pals at the end. But I don't know if people know this, but if you drive through Arizona, you're gonna get pulled over.
Okay.
So, or at least in my experience, I'm not a terrible speeder, but you know, it's the middle of the night, no cars on the road, you're going straight. At one point, I got pulled over, and I was thinking, crap. And the guy, you know, tells me how fast I'm going, and then eventually he goes, so what do you do for a living? And I go, I write for Puppy Dog Pals. It's this kid show about dogs. And he goes, oh, is that the one with the communist fascist police dog? I was like, no, sir, that's Paw Patrol. And he's like, okay.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And then he was like, wait, what was that show again? I was like, Puppy Dog Pals. He's like, all right, I'm going to look that up. Have a good night.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
You got to toss your hoity-toity Hollywood credentials in some. You got to be. You're like just one step shy of. Don't you know who I am?
Yeah. Thankfully, I didn't have to go there. I should be like, do you know young children? Do you have like young children? Oh, you do? Oh, good. You know who I am. Otherwise, just keep that in my pocket.
Well, I like that story. Thank you for sharing that.
But how about yourself?
Well, I have wrapped up my classes for the semester. I've done my last Zoom call.
Really? Oh, for the year? Wow.
I know. So I don't have to get on Zoom again until 2021.
Wow. All right. Congratulations.
I am like I didn't realize at the start of the year how much that sentence would mean to me.
Right.
In that, if someone had said that to me in January, I'd be like, A, who are you? And B, what is Zoom? And C, get out of my room. It's 2 a.m. What are you doing here? Right. So it's weird. Like, when I logged off my last class, I was like, oh, so nice. Like,
wow.
and it's, I say this, I've said this before, like, truly the first worldiest of first world problems, because I cannot in any way complain about being able to continue doing my work.
Right. Which is entirely understandable. And I agree. I feel equally as thankful. But it's also, it can be a grind.
Yeah. So there's definitely that. Now, obviously, now I have to get into the grading, and that's just, I've been doing this long enough now that, like, I dread the end of semester emails from students.
Oh, yeah.
Because inevitably you have this, I've gotten a couple of these, where you've got the students who didn't show up. They were there like maybe half the time. Mm-hmm. They didn't turn in very many of the assignments. We're talking like a quarter of the assignments, right? So it's like you're not just failing, you're failing spectacularly, right?
Right.
And then you get the email, like the first email ever you've gotten from one of these students, like, I was just wondering, like, I know I'm not doing so good, and I was just wondering if you have any extra credit I can do to pass the class. It's like, yeah, I didn't say this, but I'm like, you got like a 22%. Like,
right.
Your extra credit is to build a DeLorean time machine and and undo the registration choice here,
Right. I saw your post the other day. It made me laugh out loud. You're like, Lord, give me the confidence.
Yeah, right.
Or the misplaced confidence.
The misplaced confidence. Seriously, right? Because I was talking about this with my wife. And Brian, you tell me, like, I did not have the balls as a student to do that. You know what I mean? Like, if I got a C, I was like, well, that's the grade I got.
That's on me. And, like, I need to do better. Yeah.
Right. I would not in any way. And the truth is, I had instances where, like, stuff came up, but I know, and I wasn't like Arvid Ingen from Head of the Class. I realized that's a super obscure reference.
I was actually going to pretend like I understood it till you explained it.
Yeah, I realized. I don't know why I went there, Brian. That's kind of weird. I like, but anyway, I wasn't like, I wasn't like an A+ student. I did okay, right?
Yeah.
But if I had an issue, I would like email the teacher or I'd talk to them and be like, listen, here's what's going on. I just want to give you a heads up.
Right.
And generally speaking, my teachers would work with me to figure it out. And that's my thing. Like, cause as a teacher, I'm in the same boat, right? Like, I don't want anybody to fail. And I tell them at the front, I'm like, look, I'm going to try to get you over the finish line as much as I can, but you gotta give me something to work with.
Right.
You know
what's funny though? When you were describing that scenario about a kid who hadn't turned in anything by the end of the, the semester, that is like a recurring nightmare that I have. Do you ever have this nightmare where I am in my old college and I realize that it's the day of finals and I haven't been to class all semester, and I think, oh no, I haven't studied. I don't even know what this final's about, and on top of that, I don't even know where it is. So it's always me running around hallways trying to find.
And where are my clothes? It's always that.
Right? Yeah. Sometimes, yeah. And so then it's just funny that that's a nightmare scenario for me, but for others, they're like, that's life.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
My recurring dream that I've had probably way too many times, now that I think about it, is where I'm back in high school because I didn't fulfill my PE requirement.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow.
That almost
sounds like that could be a good sitcom.
Right?
You're like, PE? And then it's like, Zachy's got to go back to high school.
I see that as like a TNBC, back when TNBC was a thing.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
Right? But that I've had that dream more times than I feel comfortable admitting, but that's a true thing.
Wow. And they're kind of similar, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's some sort of unfulfilled, like, stress that we probably felt when we were younger that has just never gone away in our brains.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so weird.
But it's weird though, Brian, because like at this point, I've been out of high school for about 24 years.
Yeah.
So in other words, I've been out of high school for 6 high schools,
Right.
and yet I still occasionally have that dream.
See, and that's what's so weird to me because like I said, I had the dream that I just expressed, and then I've had other people tell me they've had the exact same dream where it's the day of finals, they've never been to class, and they don't know what to do. And I find that so weird that collectively, people who may not even know each other are having the same weird collected dream.
Wow.
And so then it makes me think, centuries ago, did they all have, like, oh, the moat doesn't have any water, like just different sorts of time-related collective dreams everybody was having.
Did you copy down those cave drawings, Ugg?
No, and it rained. Oh, they're all gonna smear.
That's yeah. Well, I think it's something Matrix. There, that's my
Yeah, something Matrix. Coming to HBO Max next year.
Anyway. Well, have you watched any new movies or anything like that since you've been out and about?
Not all the new stuff I wanted to watch. I haven't actually gotten to because now that I'm here with my family, like every night we're trying to find things that we'll all enjoy.
Oh.
So then I try to do my stuff later, but then I get kind of tired. But so I've actually seen a couple older things, which I'll just talk about very quickly. And also, I just want to make a note. I don't have a desk where I am, so I'm using an old empty computer box and my microphone and whatever. So I apologize throughout this recording if there's any like kind of noises.
It's all this texture, Brian.
Yeah. Well, I watched The Natural for the first time, the baseball movie, which I know
okay.
is iconic, right? I mean, everybody knows that shot or has seen at least a parody of that shot.
So
where
Homer
Robert Redford-
Homer at the bat suddenly makes sense to you.
Is that what it's based on? Or no, not Homer at bat. Homer, yes.
That is-
I'm sorry, I was thinking of Casey at bat with the where Mighty Casey strikes out.
Well, that's what the title, but the episode is inspired by The Natural.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have so much stuff in my brain right now after doing all this Disney stuff. Yes, because I also looked up afterwards. While I was watching The Natural, I thought, this is really interesting because, there are characters in here that wear all black and they don't have a lot behind them, but they are bad. Capital D, B bad. And
Right.
he is like capital G good. And so it reminded me of mythology. And then I went to look and it looks like some of this stuff is based on Homer. And like Homer Greek mythology stuff. So that's what I thought you were referring to.
Oh,
first.
no, I did no, nothing as high class as that. I was just making.
I have
some reference.
failed. I should have caught that reference. Oh no, absolutely. I mean, even down to the hypnotist in the locker room,
Yep.
I didn't realize came from that movie. Yeah, and Wonder Bat, of course,
Right.
Wonder Boy in the film, and a lightning storm strikes a tree in half, and he makes a bat out of it. But unlike Homer, he didn't grab the biggest piece of sheet metal he could find during the storm. But yeah, no, it was really good, and it was very. While I was watching it, I was thinking this feels like a fable, or like a myth or something. There's some sort of like mythic simplicity to it. But like with that in my mind, like I kind of enjoyed it. It's very simple, and you want the guy to win. And at the end, I hate to spoil a 30-some-year-old movie, but basically, yeah, he hits like the home run to end all cinematic home runs, which has been parodied everywhere, and blows out all the lights in the stadium. And I mean, it's insane, but it's completely effective. You just can't help but you want to stand up and go, yeah. So, do you like that movie?
I do like it. It's sort of a fascinating, example of the Hollywood assembly line because it's inspired by a novel,
Right.
which is very much not like the movie.
Yeah. I read all about it afterwards and was kind of fascinated.
It's amazing because the book you've got the Roy Hobbs character who in the film is Robert Redford. He accepts a bribe. He's struck out. I mean, it's like
Yes. The novel is the cynical story.
it is,
And then the movie is the completely like, gee whiz. Kind of.
But here's the funny thing about it, because we're able to talk about the movie as like, oh my gosh, The Natural, it's amazing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But you can also see the scenario where they make the book version. Mm-hmm. And we'd be talking about it like, and can you believe like the studio was like, hey, how about he like wins at the end?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's funny. My brother and I, when it was over, we were both saying in our brains, we saw a version where he died like after his hit because he's suffering from this, injury.
You're right.
And I was like, there's a version of that. And I kind of like it, but that's not what the movie is.
Right.
But the book probably would have done that.
Yeah. I mean, literally the book, it ends with him like, expelled from baseball and his record will be, removed, it's very dark. And so definitely it's one of it sort of reminds me of Rocky, right? Where the Stallone's original idea for Rocky was much more cynical. Very much like the novel of The Natural. Mm-hmm. And in both instances, the people making the movie were like, well, that's not what we want to do. We want to make it, more of a crowd pleaser, right? And I mean, in the case of Rocky, that was Stallone himself reaching that realization. But again, it's one of those things where now I hazard a guess that if people have any affinity for The Natural, it's from the film. It's not from the book.
Yeah, and I don't mind darker stories and cynical takes on things, but I think I like what they did with the movie. I mean, the movie is just a beautiful, feel good baseball flick.
Yep.
So I'm happy to have finally caught up on that. But and then also it turned into a Robert Redford-a-thon over here.
Redfest.
Yeah, we are our own Sundance. Over
yeah,
here.
Right.
But now we've gotten to the place where we each pick the movie per night, and so I was trying to pick something we'd all enjoy. So I just, with Redford on the brain, I went with Sneakers.
Oh yeah,
which is
I like Sneakers.
Such a weird, forgotten movie, isn't it?
It's forgotten, but it's like good. I think.
Oh, it's so good. I think it holds up.
Phil Robinson directed that.
Yeah, and it's, as far as I know, an original story, and I mean, it's got Ben Kingsley, Robert Redford, Sidney Poitier, Dan Aykroyd, River Phoenix. I mean, it goes on and on and on. But I think I've talked about it on here before, maybe a couple years ago. So without saying, getting too into it, I think it's really good. It's a little bit of a slow burn in the first half, but then it becomes like really crackling and fun in the second half, and it's all about these people who used to be thieves who work together now, and they're trying to steal a little black box that could be very dangerous. And so they have to pull off this heist to first get the box and then to keep it out of other people's hands. And it's just clever and fun and unlike anything I've seen in recent years. So I wouldn't mind if that, I was just thinking, I'm going to put it out there. I'm totally throwing this idea out here, throwing it away. This should be a CBS series.
Hey, I could see that. I could totally see that.
It's totally a CBS series.
Right.
These guys, this team of thieves, and they get the impossible thing out of the impossible place.
Yep. Yeah, that movie came out summer of '92, as I recall, which was right when I moved back to the States. Shortly after I'd seen my very first snow.
That's right.
But yeah, I feel like there was this brief window where Redford was like the lead, like the action lead. And, I mean, it's funny because we tend to think of him in like kind of prestige pictures.
Sure.
Right? And like there's a few kind of popcorn type movies that he did. Sneakers is one. Another one he did maybe roughly 10 years later was called The Last Castle.
Yeah. Wow, I forgot about that.
That is, if you get a chance, especially since you're in kind of like Redford mode, check that out because it co-stars James Gandolfini.
I'm writing it down now.
And it's not like world shattering. It's just I think it's it's like a good action thriller that stars these good actors, and you get to just see them play off each other.
Dude, that sounds great. That's totally the mode we're in over here.
I have a feeling you guys would like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll check that out. Lastly, I was just going to mention real quick 2 podcasts I listened to that I really enjoyed. One is a series I have been listening to all of them. It's called Script Apart. And I think people who listen to the show would probably be interested in something like this, where basically this host talks to screenwriters about the first draft of their movies.
Oh, interesting.
And then compares them to what actually got made.
Wow.
So he had the writers of 10 Things I Hate About You, Edward Scissorhands, Nightmare Before Christmas, who's the same woman, Caroline Thompson. And Caroline Thompson especially does not hold back.
Really?
Her story about Nightmare Before Christmas is pretty interesting.
So I take it the version that was made was not what she had in her mind?
More like, and it's interestingly enough, by the way, Netflix has a series called The Movies That Made Us. And now they have the holiday movies that made us. And they get into Nightmare Before Christmas also. And she speaks a little bit about it in there. But the podcast is, completely great questions. She doesn't hold back. Basically, what it was they started making the film, but they didn't have a script. And so they had the screenwriter from Beetlejuice writing it, but he had his own issues, substance abuse issues.
Huh.
And he apparently blew all his money and didn't write anything. And so when he had to turn something in, all he did was take Danny Elfman's songs and transcribe them and then turned them in. So there's no story. So they went to Caroline Thompson in a panic, and she had to invent a story around the songs. And they had already shot stuff. And obviously that's a really labor-intensive film, right, with the stop motion.
Yeah,
so she would be like, well, look, I want this to happen because we got to set this up. They're like, hey, we already shot that. I'm sorry. So she had to just take all these puzzle pieces and then fill them in and try to come up with a coherent movie. So it's really interesting stuff. I think, and like Zodiac's one of them. It's fairly recent, but whenever a new one drops, I always get like,
Script
hey, all right.
Apart. Script Apart.
Script Apart. Yeah,
Apart.
I think
Okay.
people would enjoy that. And then lastly, I have to recommend this. I can't remember where I heard this. It might have been on another podcast. But someone recommended this podcast called Reply All.
Okay.
And I haven't listened to the whole series, but Reply All, episode 158. Okay? It's called The Case of the Missing Hit.
Wow. Okay.
All I heard was he just said, look, it's a ride. You're just going to go for a ride. And I was like, okay. So the premise, and I won't spoil it, but the premise basically is the setup. This guy is riding home from a party with his wife, and he starts singing this song because he has it stuck in his head. And the wife's like, what is that? And he goes, the song goes like this. Da-da-da-da-da. And he hums it, sings all these lyrics, and she's like, I've never heard that song in my life. So he goes home to Googles the lyrics, and instead of that song coming up, like I think it says something about a sultan, it just has the Wikipedia page for what a sultan is.
Okay.
Like, wait, what? And he cannot find any evidence of this song ever existing, but he knows it note for note, and he knows pretty much all of the lyrics. And that's the journey.
Wow. Okay. Episode 152?
158.
158.
It's called The Case of the Missing Hit, and the podcast is called Reply All. And it is a really, really fun journey.
Well, there you go.
I've heard it twice now. I listened to it with my brother on the drive out. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. So,
well, we got Brian doing PR for other podcasts.
Yeah.
We don't do that normally, so that means that has me intrigued.
Good stuff. It's good stuff. How about yourself?
I have not been listening to as many podcasts lately as I'd like literally since the beginning of the year, or since the beginning of the pandemic, because my drive time is usually when I'm listening.
Yeah. I'd say same. Say same.
I've been. You know what I have been listening to? Barack Obama's book.
Yeah, I downloaded it from Audible, but I haven't started it yet.
I was, because what I had read initially, it's very good, by the way. I would definitely recommend it. But, I had read that it was going to be a little bit more no holds barred. And so I was secretly hoping it would be like, Donald Trump's a piece of crap and he's a racist idiot. And, I was hoping there would be a lot of that. But
or like, or even more, I want to hear like, yeah, so you know what I left in my drawer? Turn to the next chapter to find out.
And I remember this song, and Michelle was like, "What are you talking about?" And so
So I went to Google.
Yeah. But here's what I have seen lately. Here's a throwback, and by throwback I mean literally throw it back. Lost in Space.
Man, yeah, I've never seen it, by the way.
you're not missing a ton. I mean,
But I remember this. I remember this was like was this the movie that knocked Titanic off?
that's yes. So that's
Yeah.
sort of the fascinating part of the story to me, anyway. Is Lost in Space gets to have this little asterisk next to its name forever.
Right.
It's sort of like Chuck Wepner is the guy who knocked down Muhammad Ali.
right.
And so that's his little claim to fame. That's Lost in Space because Titanic was number one for like 16 weeks or something ridiculous.
Yeah, like December to April or something.
Yeah, it is every week.
Every week.
Titanic
Number one.
was the iceberg every week, and the
Yeah.
movies were just, U.S. Marshals was no match for Titanic, And then Lost in Space comes out, and it knocked it out. However, briefly, I think it was for like 1 week,
Okay.
But I kind of, for family movie night, I was like, hey, I haven't seen this in a while. Let's pop it on. And it's such like, this is a 1998 movie.
See, okay, right now, before you tell me what you actually thought of it, when you were talking about Evolution a week ago, I was like, that's what I want to watch. I want to watch this lost 1990 movie I haven't seen. Or 90s movie, I should say. And for, Evolution unfortunately didn't capture my imagination, but now you kind of have me like, ooh, do I want to watch Lost in Space?
I mean, here's what I would say. It's 2 hours and 10 minutes long, which is probably about 25 minutes longer than it needs to be.
Sure.
Right. I don't think it's bad. It was interesting because I posted about it on social media, and I got. It's kind of a fascinating phenomenon because you mentioned Evolution. Same thing happened there, where you get right away people like, I loved that movie.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Like they respond, and then you have people being like, I wiped that movie off my shoe last week,
Right.
So you get I Evolution. I probably liked a little less, but even this, it's like, it's fine, I guess, whatever. Like I watched it once 22 years ago, and now here, and I probably don't need to see it again until I'm in my 60s.
right.
Which is crazy, by the way, that is now within arm's reach, Like,
Right. The distance between, like college or high school and the future from, same.
to almost retiring. We're like right in the middle. Speaking of that, by the way, I remember watching that movie as a kid, and I wasn't a kid. I was, 20, whatever I was. And,
Yeah, sure.
Which is basically a kid. But I remember like thinking, man, Mimi Rogers, like she's pretty hot, And like
I don't really know her from Austin Powers, which is so weird because I know she was like a star and married to Tom Cruise. For a minute.
right. So she's like the mom, right?
Yeah.
So she had like hot mom energy,
Yeah, right.
And then, just out of curiosity, I look it up, and she's like 41 when they shot that movie. And I'm like, wow,
Right.
And then this is just, so it's based on the old TV show, and they pumped a lot of money into it. This is New Line Cinema. They pumped $80 million into this, which in 1997, $98 is a lot of money. And I think they only made like 120 worldwide, so that's why they didn't make a franchise out of it.
Right.
But that's what's sort of infuriating is it was so clearly engineered to create a franchise that the movie doesn't end. It just kind of like, off they go to the next adventure, Which, if your movie's called Lost in Space...
Sure. Well, and based on a television show, which had tons of episodes.
Yeah, exactly. So they are, so this was like Godzilla, just before Godzilla.
Right.
That same thing where, we got the marketing campaign, we got the whatever, And when you think about it, they had a great cast: William Hurt, Gary Oldman, like I said, Mimi Rogers, et cetera. So all the pieces were there. It just kind of didn't really come together the way they would have liked. But I wouldn't say it's bad. I just think it's like whatever.
Sure.
But it does feel very rooted to that specific era.
Okay.
Which I
with
think
Matt
is-
LeBlanc. Did you say that yet?
Matt LeBlanc, I forgot. Yeah.
Right.
He plays the hotshot Han Solo-esque character who was originally they cast Sean Patrick Flannery from Young Indiana Jones, and I think he wasn't as physically like a match with William Hurt. Like, because they're supposed to be kind of at odds.
Oh, I see.
And so that's why they cast Matt
Too bad
LeBlanc.
for him.
Yeah, well, he might feel like he dodged a bullet,
Yeah, well, that's true.
But very much this time capsule. But it was totally one of those things where I finished it and I was like, all right, well, done with that until, 2042.
Right. Wow.
It's crazy. The other thing, this is like weird how my brain works, but like they have these space suits, and the women have like molded boobs.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm always like, why would you mold boobs in clothing?
Right.
Right? Like that, just from a practical level.
Well, maybe I thought I saw this come up with something just like a week ago, and it made sense because it was for armor.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Somebody about the Mandalorian, I think.
Yeah, which makes sense though because men and women's bodies are different. So of course, if it's armor, for you'd want it to be comfortable while they're wearing it. But I guess with the spacesuits, I mean, it could just be like spandex, right? Is what you're saying?
Well, like on the Mandalorian, right? The female, like Bo-Katan and those people. I mean, they have armor that is shaped around them, but it's not molded individually on the chest. If you know what I mean?
Right.
That's the part where I'm like, well, that's how do you know? Like, what practical function does that serve? Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. This is
That's the future. We'll find out.
Yeah, but good point. Touche.
And by the way, John Williams wrote the theme song for the TV series.
For the original series, that's right. Yeah. The score, by the way, for the film is very good.
Oh, yeah?
It's Bruce Broughton, who also did Tombstone.
Oh, yeah.
And I would say I listen to that score all the time, the Lost in Space score. It's very good.
Nice, I'll have to check that out.
The movie's just kind of okay. I don't think it's bad. It was funny because I was seeing on social media people who were like really going to town, tearing it apart, and I'm like, this is like making fun of like a kid who runs with a limp. Like, come on, just go. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm just picturing all the Lost in Space people for some reason in a living room together with a fireplace, gathered around listening to this episode. Like, oh.
Speaking of Lost in Space, there is a series now that is on Netflix.
Right, which I heard is good.
My oldest son, he has seen that show and he quite likes it. So I've never seen it, but he said it's pretty good. So
Parker Posey, that's the only person I can think of.
Yeah, she's Dr. Smith.
Guy. Yeah,
Dr.
Smith. Yeah,
who was Gary Oldman in the film.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's something else I've seen, which is not out yet. I think it's due out before the end of the year, and it is News of the World, which we talked about on this show. I think a couple episodes ago.
Yeah, I think so.
So this is a Tom Hanks vehicle where this is his very first Western, Brian. He's never done a Western before.
Yeah, kind of surprising, but now he's got all those bases covered.
Now, right, he can check that box, and I really enjoyed this. This is directed by what's his name, the Bourne guy.
Greengrass.
Thank you, Paul Greengrass, and they previously teamed on Captain Phillips.
Right.
And so in this, Tom Hanks is not Captain Phillips, he is Captain Jefferson Kyle Kidd. And he plays a former captain in the Civil War. He fought for the South, and this is 5 years removed from that. And he makes his way by going from town to town, reading the news to various towns. Like so he charges like 10 cents a head. People gather, and he's essentially like Walter Cronkite. Like here's a story out of Kentucky where this happened, and it's all it starts with Tom Hanks, in his very Tom Hanks way, being like, there's so much uncertainty in the world, and I'd like to think that for the next hour we can just feel good or whatever he says, and you're like, thanks, America's dad, Tom Hanks,
Right.
You just feel good about it, and I just genuinely enjoyed it. Like He during the course of his journeys, he meets this girl who she's the child of German settlers, but she was raised by a Native American tribe. And that tribe that raised her has now been killed, or the people that raised her have been killed. So he finds her, and because he's Tom Hanks, he's like, well, I'm going to take you back to your family.
Right.
Because that's the kind of thing Tom Hanks does, darn it. It's about their journey. And it's not, it's not earth-shattering in the sense of like the stakes are not the civilization depends on this or democracy depends on this.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just an opportunity to spend time with this actor who we love. And
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like something I would really enjoy.
I'm virtually certain that you'll like it. Mm-hmm. I have very little doubt that you'll like it,
Cool.
because it ended and I watched it with my wife and we're both like, oh, yeah, it just felt good. Like, it's a nice feeling, So I hope people do watch it. This is, like I said, it's a VOD thing. So,
Oh, okay. I was going to ask that. Yeah.
yeah, it's not even VOD. It's Universal, and you know how they worked out a deal where like it'll come out to theaters, and then like 2 weeks later it'll be on.
Yeah.
So it's one of those deals.
Okay. So what? It probably comes out Christmas, and then 2 weeks from then ish, it'll be available VOD. Is it gonna? And that's put you on the spot, but is it gonna be? Because I know you probably saw it like a screener or something. But is it one of those like $20 rental things, or is it?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, I'd be willing to bet. That's my guess. That's interesting though that they do have that 2 week buffer, right?
Yeah, I mean, at the time, if you remember, the theater owners were pitching fit to Universal over that.
Yeah, well,
and then Warner Brothers
as
like,
we'll get to. I mean,
hold my beer, said Warner
advanced.
Brothers.
Yeah. It's funny when you sent me that. I wanted to look up the release date, and so I Googled it, and then being out here in Tulsa, immediately Showtimes came up. I was like, oh, wow, like theaters.
Wow, yeah, what a concept, right?
Yeah. So.
So that's what I have seen, and why don't we take a short break and we come back, talk up some headlines. And we are back, and we were just talking about the window between theatrical and streaming, and how Warner Brothers, last time we talked, they kind of nuked the whole playpen.
Yeah, which I don't know that we knew this at the time, but it turns out most filmmakers were only made aware of this 30 minutes before the announcement.
Which,
so,
like,
yeah.
how do you figure that? Like this, backstory here. Warner Brothers first made this deal with regards to Wonder Woman 1984, and at the time that was thought of as like a one-off thing.
Mm-hmm. And it kind of made sense, right?
Yeah.
That was maybe the one that probably would have been number 1 or 2 of the year. And it's almost sort of like this little gift after a crappy year, make it available to people through unusual, unprecedented means. It's like a little gift. Yeah.
And apparently, like, they worked at, because the issue, I mean, there's all this profit participation involved.
Yeah.
So they had to work out a deal where they got Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot, and I'm assuming Chris Pine too, who all have back-end deals. They had to sort of get them all okay with it.
Right, because just to completely explain that, basically once a movie hits a certain amount of profit, then people who have such deals, usually the leads or the director or something, then they start, maybe they'll take less money to do the movie, but then after it hits a certain amount of profit, then they start getting percentage of the box office. So
right.
They can make even more money than they would have from an initial contract. But when you don't have a movie in theaters making box office, how do you even calculate that?
Yeah, exactly. Right. People know the differences between, there's gross points and there's net points, and it's a lot, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so they had to get her. If you remember, when Wonder Woman was announced, like, Patty Jenkins broke the news on her
right.
Twitter. Right. So in other words, they had roped her in, and they were like, "This is what we want to do. We want to make sure everybody's on the same page." So,
right.
Okay, that announcement was greeted with like, "Oh, okay, I guess that's what we're doing." And then very shortly thereafter, Warner Bros. Is like, "Well, hold on, because here's everything else too." And yeah, like you said, they didn't tell anybody.
Right.
Weird.
Which just feels, you're in a working relationship with these people, and this is obviously, there's a lot of things to consider with this, right? And maybe they could even say, like, look, this is what we're going to do, and we're sorry, but at this point, this is, we have to do what we can to, in terms of business, whatever. But you let the people you're in a relationship know what's going on, right? You don't just It
Yeah.
feels like, well, Christopher Nolan called it a betrayal.
Christopher Nolan, who at the time I read his comments, I was like, man, he's pulling no punches. And then I read some of the other comments and from other directors. It's like, oh, okay, he's positively sedate in his commentary.
Yeah. I kind of wondered, right? I mean, he's been fairly outspoken during all of this anyway, right? In terms of movies and theatrical and whatnot. But yeah, when other people started coming out and being like, no, yeah, I have something to say too, right?
Yeah.
Judd Apatow was one of them, and
I mean, so Christopher Nolan, I mean, one thing he said is Warner Brothers went from, being like the best studio to releasing all their movies on the worst streaming service.
yeah,
And I'm like, rare.
right.
But I mean, this
He
is
can do that though.
He,
Few people can do that, and he's still going to make his next movie.
here's a thought I had.
Yeah.
How much of Warner Brothers' decision is a direct result of him pushing so hard for Tenet and then that movie shit in the bed,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. That was one of those weird things, though. I mean, everything was so wobbly early in the year. It was like trying to figure out. I mean, I think we all agreed that it wasn't the best decision. Certainly not in terms of success or reaching a wide audience.
Yeah.
But I think he was just like, I just wanted to see if we can help. I gotta say, I do admire his wanting to not let a industry he loves perish.
Sure.
Like, I understand that, and so you just kind of have to work with what you have. But he was trying to push and push and push, and
It's
go the way I
weird
think he had hoped.
because Christopher Nolan is standing at like the razor's edge between admirable and insane. Like in terms of his perspective on this, because I'm with you where as a general rule, like I can't fault the guy for defending this industry. On the other hand, he's been so militant about like it's got to be the theaters. It's like, dude, there is a literal plague right now.
Yeah.
And watching your time travel movie is not like at the forefront of people's thought.
Yeah.
Right?
It's tough. It's tough. I mean, I don't want to see these, AMC talking about basically, what is it? Like they have 750 million, or they need 750 million or something. Or once they lose that, they're done.
Yeah.
At the beginning of next year. I'm bungling the facts, but I don't like hearing that. But I also don't know what you do.
We've talked about this multiple times throughout the last several months. Whatever theatrical distribution looks like on the other side of this, whenever the other side of this arrives, it's going to be vastly different from what we have right now. So you have studios who are in this situation of like, well, we've got like assets that are, it's sunk costs already. Mm-hmm. And the longer they sit in a drawer, the longer we have to go without the money those things would make us.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is Warner Brothers is owned by AT&T, which spent an absolute fortune not only acquiring Warner Brothers, but also launching HBO Max.
Mm-hmm.
So the decision to dump the theatrical slate onto HBO Max, make no mistake, that is not an artistic decision in the least. That's the money people being like, we got to justify how much money we spent on HBO Max.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And so that's what's underneath all this. The other thing is Legendary, which is like a co-financier for a lot of these Warner Brothers pictures, the MonsterVerse, right? So Kong vs. Godzilla, Dune also. They're really upset about this.
Yes, right.
But here's the thing. Okay, and this is where some of the hypocrisy comes in my opinion. They're not. On the one hand, they're like, these should be released to theaters and blah 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 blah, right? Mm-hmm. On the other hand, they were also negotiating with Netflix and other streamers to potentially buy Kong vs. Godzilla.
Oh, I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah, Netflix was offering $200 million.
Right.
Which, my only takeaway from that is Netflix has too much money on hand. If they're right, what are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, how do you justify that for Kong vs. Godzilla?
Right.
Which I want to see, but come on.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, think about it, though. They have, this was a fact I had for a later story, but they have 195 million subscribers worldwide. And all those people are paying $13.99 a month. So.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's, I mean,
Got money.
The streaming wars are like fully in gear right now.
And no one could have seen this, right? I mean, it's interesting too because I don't mean to get ahead, but Netflix was Netflix. They were like king of the mountain, right? And then you had Disney breaking in there, and you had HBO Max breaking in there. And I think Disney's first year was they started out of the gate strong, and then people burned through what they had, and it was like, gimme more, right? And they didn't have it ready. And then they had really strong drops to come, to Hamilton and then Mandalorian season 2, and we're going to get into the wave of content coming soon. But then likewise HBO Max, they come out of the gate and you're like, great. I remember downloading the app and going, here we go. What do we got? It's like, oh, it just looks like HBO. But now all of a sudden these services, because of this unfortunate world event, now just have gold, like Scrooge McDuck's dump truck.
Yeah.
Dumping content on there, making them far more valuable than they would have been last year.
Yeah.
So it's become a whole new thing. I mean, they've basically become pay-per-view.
Yeah, right. I mean, we saw over the last, over the life of this podcast, we've seen the shift from cable to streaming.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're at a point now where basically, the upside of streaming was, oh, I'm getting so much more for so much less. And and now you're paying at or more than what you were paying with cable.
Mm-hmm.
Right. With streaming services, I mean, you can't unring the bell. I think people have gotten used to the convenience that it offers.
Mm-hmm.
But what we were talking about earlier, Denis Villeneuve, I mean, again, he made Christopher Nolan sound positively sedate.
Right.
He said, by the way, what I said last time. I was like, this is a way of ensuring that there is no Dune sequel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? I mean, he wrote like a long thing for Variety. And he says, obviously he's like, yeah, the public safety comes first and that's important. But let's see, what's the specific thing he says here? Let me find it. Sorry. He says, Dune is by far the best movie I've ever made. My team and I devoted more than 3 years of our lives to make it a unique, big screen experience. Our movie's image and sound were meticulously designed to be seen in theaters. Mm-hmm. And I say that's fine, and I'm sympathetic, and I'm not in any way undervaluing it. On the other hand, I'm also like, dude, after like 3 months, people are going to be watching it not in the theater.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, sure.
Like, I mean, I don't know. It's like...
Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't even thought when you put it that way. I mean, because going back to, I still think sometimes in my brain I have the Titanic era in my head. Where something, if it's, conquers the box office, it lives the life, this long life that it creates for itself in theaters. But that's really not even true anymore. I mean, even sometimes movies are still in theaters and they're like, well, it's been 3 months. Now it's coming out on Blu-ray or streaming.
I mean, Titanic, we talked, again, earlier in the show, 16 weeks it was number one.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's ever going to happen again?
No.
Of course, it hasn't happened since.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So and Dune was going to be an uphill climb in theaters anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I mean, I'm a fan of the material. I'm looking forward to this movie. I'm sympathetic. I'm genuinely sympathetic because obviously it sucks that it's robbed of this experience. However, I'm also like, I don't know. I mean, what do you do? It's a bunch of... Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, Warner Brothers may have killed the Dune franchise, which maybe, but again, it was always an uphill climb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. All we can do is speculate at this point, but I'm not as gloomy about theater futures. I mean, that's not to recognize what they're going through now, and it sounds awful. But I think people will go back to theaters, and it won't be in as strong of numbers, but I think they'll still be there. And when Dune comes out and it's either streaming in my living room or it's at the theater a couple blocks from my house, like I know personally I'll be going to the theater.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people will. Not as many, but I think a sizable amount of people will. We're in a new era. That completely recognizing that, but I still think theaters will be there.
There's another part of this too. I mean, isn't it just as likely that more people would watch, say, Dune, if it's on streaming
Maybe. I mean, that's the whole thing with Netflix, right? They drop a movie, or movies, plural, I think, like every 2 weeks.
Right.
And I see people talking about them, right? Movies that I probably, sometimes I haven't even heard of them, or if they came in theaters, I don't know that they would have been able to capture as wide an audience. But when they're just presented in front of you, I mean, isn't that sort of the life with a lot of movies where people didn't go see them in theaters, but then they have this huge, home video life?
Yeah, right.
Back in the day, I suppose. But, they find their followings there. And so you're just sort of getting right to that. And then people, when it's easier for them, they will give it a shot on a Friday night. So who knows?
Well, and I think, HBO Max, the decision being that these movies will be available for a month and then they're gone.
Right.
I think that's smart because it incentivizes people to watch it right away. The other thing, and I feel like this will be the case, that a lot of people are going to subscribe for Wonder Woman, and they will probably keep their subscriptions.
Mm-hmm. Because of this new plan.
Probably, right? And so if that's the case, you've got people who already have it, and so it creates a baseline of more people who are likely to sample it. And then, the content itself is varied enough because, what else is coming out? We got like Space Jam 2 and the Sopranos prequel and whatever else, right?
Matrix.
Oh, the Matrix, right. And so, I mean, you can imagine people being like, well, I don't care about Wonder Woman, but, I want to watch the Matrix.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I hate being like the guy defending the evil blood-sucking corporation.
I know. Well, it's funny because listening to... I think we are, at least to my ear, accurately explaining how we feel, because there is something kind of exciting about it. And there's also, I can have an open mind about how things evolve. But at the same time, I feel a sense of tragedy.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, I feel it all.
The other thing, so one thing, HBO Max, they've said that by the time Wonder Woman comes out, they're going to add 4K.
Okay.
So the movies will be available in 4K. And so I'm also coming at it from a position of privilege where I'm like, I got my 65-inch 4K TV.
Right.
So, like, yeah, if I got to watch it at home, boo-hoo,
It's funny. That was something I thought about after we recorded with Wonder Woman. And I did think, growing up, I didn't have cable, right? And so I did think like, you have to have a couple steps to get to this. You can't just get your family together and pay some money and see a thing and go home. I mean, you have to have, you don't have to have cable, but you have to have some sort of internet thing, and you have to have some sort of device that can stream the thing, and you have to subscribe to HBO. So there are these extra steps, and it sucks that if that, is difficult for people that would love to just plunk down some money and watch the darn thing.
I mean, you figure the concern that people like Denis Villeneuve have, Christopher Nolan, is that people are going to be like watching on their phone in the car.
Right.
Which I would agree that's probably not the best way to watch these things. But on the other hand, I'm kind of like, well, there's no way to stop that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like it's going to happen,
Yeah.
I talk about this in my class a lot, right? We're living in an age of technological convergence where, it used to be different media industries kind of had their own lane. If you want to watch a movie, you go to the theater. If you want to watch television, you watch it on TV. You want to read a magazine, Now, everything you can do on your device.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've got an entire generation now that doesn't construct as much separation as we do.
Mm-hmm.
For them, it's all just something I'm watching.
Yeah.
Whether it's a TikTok or Timothy Chalamet talking to a worm, it's all like a thing I'm watching on my device, right? I'm not saying that's good or bad.
Yeah, but it's just what it is.
It's what it is, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We feel for you, Denis. That's all I'm saying.
I do. And then I hope it evolves again, and it'll become some weird mutated hybrid of all of this. Once we're out of this thing, it'll be, it's going to continue. This story, I think, is going to continue to evolve.
Yeah, I think, I mean, especially given the fact that we're talking right now, like the day that vaccinations have started to be administered, who's to say what things look like,
We just don't know. I mean, if there's any lesson to all of this, I mean, we didn't know what it looked like in February. We didn't know what it looked like in April. We just have to keep waiting and seeing.
You know, it's funny because the vaccines have started to be administered, and like as we are recording this, the Electoral College is voting also. So it's this weird, it's this weird convergence. I saw a tweet by Diedrich Bader. You know Diedrich Bader, right? Mm-hmm. He says if 2020 were a pitch, and it gets to the end where the vaccine is given on the day the Electoral College votes, it's like executives sitting in silence, and then the writer. You see, it's a metaphor. He's the virus. And the executives say, yeah, no, we get it. I think we're all just wondering who let you get this far.
DJ, I love that guy.
He's hilarious.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know if we were going to talk about Mandalorian or not, but nice TPS reports.
Dude, right?
Drop in the last episode.
That's hilarious. Yeah, my wife and I just busted out laughing, and my kids are like, what's so funny?
Yeah. I was like, yeah, it's good.
Hey, well, got big Disney streaming news, but before we talk about Disney and everything they announced, I feel like we have to mention this new... Netflix is like, all right, Disney, we see your Marvel / Star Wars / literally everything else content, but we raise you with Nick Cage.
Right.
And there's a new show that's coming up on Netflix. So as soon as I read about it, I was like, I gotta watch this. It's called The History of Swear Words.
You know how that pitch went.
Yeah.
Done.
Right.
Nick Cage, yeah.
I picture Nick Cage himself pitching it. Like, all right, so here's my idea.
Yeah.
Just pour yourself a wine glass full of jelly beans and sit down. Listen to this. So the quote here, through interviews with experts in etymology, pop culture, historians, and entertainers, the 6-episode series dives into the origins of such words as and damn. Sign me up.
Yeah. I know. Well, and just picturing him in some sort of chair by a fireplace and his
with like a ascot.
Yeah, I'm sure with like leopard print, you know. Come on a journey with me, won't you? You know.
Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. He's like reading like penthouse letters. So I was thinking about the history of, you know.
Right.
So that's going to be available for streaming at the start of the year.
You definitely interested to see what that's all about.
Sign me up. Woo! So Disney had like their big investor call, and they just like unloaded on everybody, like just a fire hose of content. So let's take a short break, and we'll come back and we can sort of run through all the various and sundry. And we are back, and so hey Brian, why don't you walk us through this?
Oh man, I was telling Zachy before we got on air here, I made a 3-page Word document trying to keep track of all this stuff. So yeah, this was wild, right? Like being out here now at my parents' place, I haven't been as checking in as frequently on movie blog sort of stuff. And then all of a sudden it was just like ding, 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 ding. Like all these things were popping up, right. Alerts from like Hollywood Reporter and all these sorts of things. And
now what's interesting here, just as a contrast with with HBO Max, I mean, they were in a situation where they're using the theatrical slate as their streaming content.
Right. Well, it's funny because they have sort of like a mixture, right?
This is HBO Max or Disney?
Disney, sorry.
Well, so Disney, I mean, I think it tells you something about just how much IP they have access to, that they can be like, this is just for streaming. We got all the theater stuff too.
Yes.
It'll come later, but look at all this, right? That just says how, I mean, clearly they've thought this stuff out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how reporters kept their fingers keeping up with all this news, trying to write this all down.
Right.
So yeah, this was Disney Investor Day presentation, and where to start? I mean, 20th Century Studios and Fox what do you even call it? 20th Searchlight, I guess you'd call it now. People were wondering, what does that even look like when you merge these studios, because their movies are so different, and you don't imagine that those things are going to stream on Disney Plus, right? Because it could be rated R or something like that. But it turns out those movies are now going to be going to Hulu. So, like Nomadland, which I'm really excited about, from Chloe Zhao, who did The Writer. That's going to be like a Hulu thing. And Kingsman, you know, the third Kings, or it's called Kingsman, the third Kingsman movie.
The King's Man, yeah.
Yeah, looking like that'll be going to Hulu. So they said there's more details to come with this, but it looks like, 20th Century Studios films will be going through Hulu moving forward for the time being. But also, another thing that came up when Fox and Disney merged was, well, what do you do with Alien? Right? Like, where do you even put the old Alien films? Do you make new Alien films? Where does that exist in the Disney universe?
Yeah.
It turns out they're going to FX. There's going to be an Alien TV show from Noah Hawley, who did Legion and Fargo.
Fargo, yeah.
Yeah, and Ridley Scott's going to be producing this. So Disney is still going to make Alien stuff. It's just going to go to different channels. But it sounds interesting. I don't know. I'm kind of curious, especially from him.
I mean, after our experience with the last Alien movie, I'm ready to just like never see any more of this ever.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. You know, it's so funny. I'm not as endeared to this series as I am to say something like Terminator.
Yeah.
But there is such a compelling universe and space truckers. And I mean, there's so much there that I am always eager to see someone get it right.
I mean, definitely the idea of a serialized story, you know, set across, one or multiple seasons, that's an Alien story. That's kind of intriguing, right?
I agree. So, I mean, and he's been, sometimes he hits and sometimes I don't, get as into it. Like, for instance, with Fargo, I really loved seasons 1 and 2, and 3 I was a little waning on.
Yeah.
And 4 I haven't even seen, which, based on how much I loved 1 and 2, I'm sort of even surprised myself.
Wow.
So he takes big swings, and that's what I admire, though. And he did that Lucy in the Sky movie, which I actually kind of stuck up for a couple weeks ago, even though most people didn't like it. But
that's right.
So, I mean, he's going to make an Alien TV show. Let's see. Let's go. Let's do it. But so anyway.
So that's a window into the thinking here about the various venues for all this content that Disney has acquired. Mm-hmm. Like everything, a place for everything and everything in its place.
Yeah, and so far we haven't heard that sort of thing yet. Some of that stuff still seemed up in the air, right?
Yeah.
But,
I mean, well, by the way, speaking of Alien, they're doing another Predator.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
wow,
we
haven't talked about that. That's right.
We haven't talked about that. Now, if you remember, we were not even remotely happy with the previous
it was
one.
so disappointing, especially because it was from Shane Black, which we were like, on paper.
Right.
How what else could you ask for?
Yeah, so the fact that they're like, hey, it's been just 2 years since the last one.
Yeah.
That one stunk up the joint. Let's give it another go.
Yeah.
Kind of like, God, but like, again, I don't know. I'm like...
Yeah. That one, I don't know. I mean, I think with Alien, maybe it's the same sort of thing. I was going to say, again, I just dig the whole space trucker vibe.
Yeah.
And people making their way through the universe and then just trying to avoid all the monsters out there sort of thing. But with Predator, it's like, okay, you got a monster and he's hunting people. And they just haven't been able to nail it.
I think what I said a couple of years ago is maybe we need to accept that the first movie worked because it was Schwarzenegger v. Monster.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Schwarzenegger, that when you take the Schwarzenegger element and you just swap it out, it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, go on.
So going back to Disney, like you were saying, some of this stuff still, they have calendar dates for theatrical. Not everything's been pushed to Disney Plus. We'll get to that in just a second. But so far as I can tell, there could be things that I'm missing, but there's so much stuff that they dumped. Free Guy, the Ryan Reynolds movie, right, where he's the video game character, that was supposed to be this year. They put it on Christmas, right?
Yeah,
for a second,
it's supposed to be this month, yeah.
Yeah, and so anyway, that got pushed to May 2nd, 2021. And then Jungle Cruise, which I think was supposed to open even back in like 2019 or something. But now that's been pushed to theaters for July 21st, 2021. Death on the Nile, which was another one people thought was like almost like, hey, yeah, just throw that on Disney Plus. That is still slotted for theatrical, but now it's September 7th, 2021.
Okay.
Now, this was an interesting one. A Pixar movie called Lightyear, right?
Yes.
Which is basically, what if Buzz Lightyear was based on a real person? So almost like if Neil Armstrong had an action figure called like Armstrong or something.
Yeah.
Named after him, and it became its own sort of thing where it's an action figure everybody loves. But what about the real? What about Neil? Right. So this movie is going to be about the real person who inspired Buzz Lightyear in this universe. I should say this is not true.
Right.
And Chris Evans is going to be playing that character, which is kind of interesting, right? That's kind of a fun idea.
I on the one hand, I'm like, how are we going to possibly separate this from that? Because obviously Buzz Lightyear, the Toy Story version, is so beloved. On the other hand, I'm like, Pixar, they know what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, even as I was trying to explain it right now, I was like, it's like a bit of a walk in the trailer to get people to understand. No. Not Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah. Right.
The guy who inspired him, who isn't a real guy.
That's right. And Chris Evans did I think he said this on Twitter or something, but he's just like, the pitch they gave me just blew me away.
Wow. Well,
and I'm like, well, he's a guy who knows how to play upright, heroic types. So
I can see it. Yeah, I can totally see it. And so this is going to be June 17th, 2022.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So a little ways away. And then Pixar had another one called Turning Red. And it just said, a girl, when she gets excited, turns into a giant red panda. I was like, sounds hilarious. So that's March 11th, 2022. It's funny because like reading that, I'm like, all right. But I could just cut to me March 11th, 2022 coming out with tears in my eyes.
Yeah, right? Totally.
But Disney had a bunch of huge movies that were supposed to come out that now, theatrically, but that are now going to go to streaming. First off, Pinocchio, which is from Robert Zemeckis, starring Tom Hanks as Geppetto. And so that's going to be going now to Disney+. And, it's no secret, we're big Zemeckis heads around here. Lately, we're waiting for him to...
Hit or miss?
Yeah, in the past couple of years. But I every time I show up, like, let this be the one, man. I know it. I know what you can do. So I hope it's great. And then Peter Pan and Wendy, which I didn't know anything about, but it's Jude Law as Captain Hook. And Yara Shahidi is Tinkerbell.
Oh, so interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so that's going to be a Disney Plus thing.
So this is the 50th Peter Pan live action movie in the last 18 months, I think.
Right, but this is going to be the one where the pirates don't sing Nirvana.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Right. Did you know that, by the way? Have you seen that clip?
In Pan, right?
Yeah, the one with Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters.
Oh, you did?
I did. I had to write a review of it.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, well, then you of anybody.
Oh, I'm aware.
Yeah. And then Cruella, starring Emma Stone, which was going to be a theatrical movie, now becoming to Disney+. So
this is like another like Maleficent type deal?
I think so. I don't know that this is the 101 Dalmatians remake per se, but it is another story involving this character.
I mean, they already did the live action 101 Dalmatians.
Right, with Glenn Close.
Yeah.
Roy Hobbs' sweetheart.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, I saw the picture of Emma Stone and I was like, okay, well, yeah, that's Cruella de Vil,
cool.
I guess.
Yeah, it's enough for me to go, well, I mean, and that's the other thing. Like, if this was in the theaters, I might have caught it. But if it's on Disney Plus, I'm going to be like, oh, that Cruella movie came out.
Yeah.
The theaters are like, grr. Let me say that. But, and then I don't think they have dates for these yet, but they said that these are still on track with the Lion King prequel from Barry Jenkins. And, which is crazy, right? We're getting a Lion King prequel from Barry Jenkins.
See, I didn't know it. I didn't know it was a prequel.
I think from what I read, that was just made clear.
Okay.
And I don't know how that works even though.
So it's like Scar and Mufasa when they're kids or something?
Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Maybe.
I mean,
it's weird because then we wouldn't see their fates per se, but we would know what's coming.
If it's possible to be even less interested in this than I was in the live action, because I was bored in that because I was like, we already know what's happening.
Oh yeah, which I never ended up seeing that. But yes, it is going to be the same live action in quotes
That
style.
I've said it on this show, like that the Lion King remake, not even live action remake, just remake, was everything wrong with this trend.
Right.
Because it's not doing anything different. It's objectively worse.
Right. Sure.
In many ways. And then you say, oh, and now we're gonna. I mean, like, to me, not that I think they should do a sequel, but you do a sequel, at least you have the room to do something different, because you don't have to remake whatever Simba's Pride or whatever it's called. You do something different.
Sure.
But if you say, oh, here's a prequel, well, what? I mean, what are we gonna?
I don't know. There must be something there, but I agree with you. You would sort of like to see the characters that you know and like, I guess, in further adventures.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's like, are we going to see them fall out? Like, who cares?
Right.
You know?
I don't know.
Right.
Maybe it's young Timon and Pumbaa.
All right.
I have no idea.
Anyway, go on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, Little Mermaid. Basically, if I were just to list off a bunch of Disney movies, that's what's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Little Mermaid. Did you see this about Chippendale's Rescue Rangers?
I did not.
They do a live-action animated hybrid movie.
That I will watch.
Yeah, so that's John Mulaney playing Chip and Andy Samberg playing Dale, directed by Akiva Schaffer, who's a Lonely Island guy.
Which, real quick, does it matter who does their voices? Come on. I mean, they're going to be put through a little processor thing. It could be you and me, and it wouldn't.
You know what's
matter.
funny? I was going to say the same thing. Don't they have like high-pitched voices?
Yeah,
So-
it's like
and
the
these
Chipmunks.
are guys I think of with like deep voices.
No, they're like Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yeah, which remember Justin Long played one of them?
That's what I'm saying. And Jesse
Yeah.
McCartney. And it's like, yeah, I don't care. None of that matters.
Yeah.
So that's what this is going to be. Because you can't have Chip and Dale sound like Andy Samberg and John Mulaney. Mm-hmm. That's not going to work.
Yeah, well, you know what? I do agree with you, but there's something to be said about those two specifically and their comedic delivery.
Like their delivery. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
Well, that's, I thought was interesting too is that a lot of these movies that are getting made, these are all really, baked into the Disney cake classic sort of things. And this is a reinterpretation of those characters from the mid 90s, like a afternoon syndicated show.
So is
right?
this specifically Rescue Rangers?
It is, yeah.
See, that's interesting to me. Like,
Right?
yeah. Well, I mean, Rescue Rangers started like 31 years ago.
Right.
So that at this point, that's a classic.
Yeah, I guess I have to come to terms with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved it. Don't get me wrong, but it's funny because they took those two old characters and they gave them the persona. One of them is sort of the Tom Selleck Magnum PI, and one's the Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Right, at least in terms of their appearance. But
That's right.
and here we are. Yeah, we're getting a live action feature of that. What else? Disenchanted, sequel to Enchanted. Sister Act 3. Coming
Wow.
from Tyler Perry and Whoopi Goldberg. That's going to be
Whoopi
going to
Goldberg
Disney+.
is coming back?
What I read was she had denied it previously, but now has her involvement's been announced.
Okay.
So, and that's just breezing through the Disney stuff.
Yeah, right.
Now we get to Marvel.
So out came Kevin Feige with his fire hose.
Yes. Yeah.
Now this is. Did you want me to take this?
Well,
or-
we can. There's a lot here.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, we have. I guess some of these don't have dates quite yet, but feature-wise, we have a date for Captain Marvel, which is July 8th, 2022. So we're getting our sequel to Captain Marvel, and that's going to have Miss Marvel in it.
That's
Kamala
right.
Khan's going to be, but she's going to be introduced in her own series on Disney Plus in late 2021. But she will feature in the Captain Marvel sequel.
Which is you said that's not dated yet.
The series is for late 2021, and the movie is July 8th, 2022.
20. Okay, so that makes sense. Okay.
Oh man, what else you got? So we got Fantastic Four, right? Not even that long ago, we had our Fantastic Four sort of debacle a couple years ago. But
It really was a debacle.
Kevin Feige's like, "Oh yeah, watch this." It's like we're doing Fantastic Four now, which is funny because I think a lot of people, when this merger happened with Disney and Fox, everyone was like, "Ooh, X-Men."
Yeah.
Right? And he's like, "Yeah, we'll get there. He's going to Fantastic Four first. And it's coming from director John Watts, who did Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Which that's kind of an interesting choice. I mean, like I think it's fine. I think he's a good director, but I know that like going back a while, Peyton Reed, this has been his thing. Like I want to do Fantastic Four, and I'm like, well, I wonder how he feels about this. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, and we have Ant-Man 3,
which Peyton Reed is doing.
Quantumania.
Quantumania, you got it.
And with Peyton Reed, so maybe he is obviously tied up with this franchise.
Yeah, but I mean, John Watts is tied up with Spider-Man. He's doing right. So
that's true too.
Like they both got movies in the pipeline separate from Fantastic Four.
Right. I don't know how that went down. Maybe he's working on something else that we haven't been announced yet.
I think Fantastic Four, it's smart to go with that first because they shit the bed so spectacularly with this last one that there's a lot of room for Marvel to come in and clean it up. Whereas with X-Men, I think it's smart to sort of let a little bit of water pass under the bridge so that, because those movies are fairly beliked. I was going to say beloved. Beliked.
Sure.
Right? And so to compete with them right away maybe is not the smartest thing. Fantastic Four, there's room. And the other thing that helps, in my opinion, is that, this last one was trying to be like the hip, edgy reinvention. And that didn't work. And I think, in a sense, that works in favor of the Fantastic Four for Marvel to go back and do something more like a traditional version of those characters.
Right.
But I'm excited because, as you know, I'm a big fan. I just by chance, the same day that they announced they were doing the new Fantastic Four, I picked up my bound edition of 15 years worth of Fantastic Four comics.
Oh, wow.
So I went to the bindery, 15 years, so from like 1977 to 2002.
Wow.
And so that should tell y'all what a big fan I am of the Fantastic Four.
I almost wish the authors of those books could hold that in their hands. Just years worth of work. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's so I'm excited to hear what they have planned, and I think it says something about the amount of goodwill that Kevin Feige has built up, that he can just be like, yeah, and we got Fantastic Four coming, and people are like, sweet,
right.
But yeah, what else?
Well, another thing that I think a lot of people were very curious about is Black Panther 2.
Yeah, we talked about it last time.
And Feige said that they will not recast Chadwick Boseman. That's what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Yep. Which, look, either way is understandable. We definitely could see the pros and cons of both, but they have something in mind, right? And Ryan Coogler is apparently plugging away right now, writing, and will be directing that, and that's going to be coming out July 8th, 2022.
So they are, in fact, going to follow the Perry Mason post Raymond Burr model of T'Challa's out of town right now, but I can help you.
Oh, interesting. I was like, Perry Mason. Yes, I guess so.
This is a reference I've used a bunch of times on this show, but for those of you who haven't heard it.
Well, now that you've said it, I'd forgotten that was sort of the conceit of the continuing adventures of Perry Mason.
They did like 4 or 5 of these movies, Perry Mason mysteries, after Raymond Burr, who played Perry Mason, died. And so, yeah, the conceit, like Brian said, was they had like Hal Holbrook as Perry Mason's friend, and he'd be like, hey, so I'm just, my office is being fumigated, and I'm in Perry Mason's office because he's in Cancun.
Right.
You say you're being falsely accused of murder? Well, I'll help you. It was like, so that's what Black Panther is going to be for the next 3 movies. T'Challa's he's in New York to pay off a speeding ticket he got, but I can help you.
Yeah, and you know what? That's tough. That's tough, right? Because they recast Terrence Howard, right, with Don Cheadle, and we got used to Don Cheadle, but Chadwick Boseman just firmly planted this image of Black Panther in our heads, and that would be difficult. That'd be a difficult sort of handoff with the same character. Likewise, obviously, they have cast this enormous web of the cinematic in now Disney Plus universe, And so they're not going to be undoing anything anytime soon. So
Yeah.
this was the path they thought was best. So I'm
It's
sure it probably is going to be great.
utterly unenviable. Like
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
a bunch of bad options, right? I mean, no one in the hierarchy expected this to happen, because Chadwick Boseman had not told anybody.
Yeah.
And so to have this sort of drop and I mean, to see how quickly the character became so beloved, it's like, how do you honor the character and the actor
Right.
when your paths sort of diverge in the woods like that? So let's see what they do. Yeah.
Yeah, then we have Thor: Love and Thunder, which we were aware of already, but it was announced that Christian Bale is going to be joining as its villain.
Yeah.
So I don't know a ton about this. If you,
Yeah, he plays a character called the God Butcher. Mm-hmm. So one presumes he will have
have it out for old Thor.
old Thor, and they are doing the Lady Thor storyline from the early part of this decade or last decade, I guess.
Okay, yeah, I kind of forgot about that with Natalie Portman. And
Yeah.
so Thor, then, to make this even more complicated, is going to be in the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie, correct?
Yes.
So will Thor, do you think, be in Thor? Well, he's in the title. But I mean, if it's Natalie Portman playing Lady Thor, I mean, are they going to be sort of interacting together, or does he go away and she takes the mantle, or how?
Yeah. So essentially, it. And I don't read the comics, so this is just sort of my understanding. The storyline, the extended storyline where Jane Foster became Thor, was essentially, she proved herself worthy. So she wields the hammer. She has the power. However, Thor is still Thor, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, like, it's not just a title, it's his name, right? He's Thor Odinson. That's his name. Mm-hmm. So he's still a character. He's just not wielding the hammer.
I see.
That's what it was in the comic. I'm assuming that they'll do something similar here.
Right.
And what's funny is I remember when they did that storyline in the comic. It was like a secret. It was like a mystery. Like, who is the Lady Thor? And it turns out it's Jane Foster. And I said at the time, I was like, they're doing this to sweeten the pot to get Natalie Portman to come back, because that's right. And then that's exactly what ended up happening, right?
Yeah.
So if I were to guess, I think Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is on the table for before Thor. I think, right?
Well, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, the new film is 2023.
Okay, so when is Thor?
That's pretty far out. So
When is
I actually
Love and Thunder?
I don't have a date for Thor.
Okay,
But yeah, that's right. That's like kind of far out there. Huh?
that's yeah. Well, they have the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
Yeah, which is interesting because that's going to be coming. Wait, I'm doing like it's quicksand. Oh, I'm sorry. Thor: Love and Thunder, May 26, 2022.
Oh, it's
so that's
before.
going to be before Guardians of the Galaxy.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh.
So then I can see this scenario, right? Like the here's what they're doing. Obviously, they don't want to write out Chris Hemsworth if they don't have to. So they're gonna use Thor 4 as a way to hand off the hammer to Natalie Portman, and then you've got Thor like looking for purpose, and he goes back with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Boom.
Right? That make I mean I don't know if that's but it makes sense to me, right?
Yeah, makes sense to me too.
You know.
And then, as you said, Guardians of the Galaxy, of course, 2023, but they're going to have a holiday special, 2022, where James Gunn has said that he has an unironic love for the Star Wars holiday special. and he said he pitched this to Feige, like, I really want to do a Guardians holiday special. And Feige's like, yeah, sure.
Come on, bring it.
Yeah, why not?
It's going to be all about trying to get Groot back to his people for Life Day or some shit, right?
Oh, it's perfect. Of course. Of course. Teen Groot's feeling all angsty, and it's like, what would help? Getting you back to your family.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, your forest, I suppose they call it.
It's going to be Rocket and Groot, like Han and Chewie.
Oh, that's great. And then, of course, there's going to have to be, like Sia or something, like singing a song. Well, and speaking of Groot, I Am Groot. It's going to be a series on Disney Plus. Date TBD, but there's going to be a Groot TV show.
So Vin Diesel better start resting his pipes.
Now, there's a question for you. Do you pay Vin Diesel? I mean, that I know it's not the same thing, but that Star Wars Lego special, holiday special came out, and they had a couple of the actors, but they also recast Ray, right,
Sure.
and Poe, and so I mean, do you pay Vin Diesel an insane amount of money just to say like a handful of words in your TV series, or do you get,
I mean, it's the same
Marisa
three
Marsh or
words again and again.
right?
You wonder what Vin Diesel's salary is. Like,
You know what would have been smart is if they had just paid him like $40 million or something and just said, we're going to spend a whole day of you saying, I am Groot in every conceivable way.
that's right.
Instead of just paying him over and over to bring him back in.
It'd be like, that SNL sketch where Dana Carvey is Tom Brokaw and he pre-records the news.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
It's like, Gerald Ford died today, eaten by wolves. And it's like, okay, let's do another one. Gerald Ford chopped into pieces by a propeller of an airplane.
Right.
It's just that it's Vin. I mean, I don't know if you've seen him performing Groot.
I
Vin
haven't.
Diesel. Look it up on YouTube. I mean, you would think. I think in his mind he thinks he's doing Shakespeare.
Oh, really?
He is super into it.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, dude, you're saying three words with varying degrees of inflection. And let's be honest, that when I say varying degrees of inflection, that's within the spectrum of Vin Diesel's ability to vary his inflection.
You know what, though? If I was being paid millions of dollars to say, hi, you better believe I'm going to, like, make them think that I'm earning every penny of that. Like,
What's interesting about this is, and James Gunn has actually talked about this, he has a translation of every I am Groot. So, in other words, he's able to show Vin Diesel, he's like, this is what you're saying.
right.
So say it with this intent.
Right. Which makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, I guess. But again, it's three words. Let's not overthink this, you know?
Right, sure.
I'm very curious what his salary is for those movies.
I remember reading it was something obscene.
That just makes me very upset. I mean, it's like Bradley Cooper is who honestly I forget sometimes. Oh yeah, he's Rocket, right?
Yeah.
But he's like doing something. He's emoting.
Yeah, he's great.
He's
as that
creating
character,
a character. Vin Diesel is adding his name recognition, and that's about it. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Sorry, Vin.
That's hilarious.
Anyway, go on.
Well, coming up right away, I think the first thing we have out of the gate with Disney Plus here is the WandaVision series, which we already sort of seen. We've seen trailers. I think they dropped a new trailer for it, but that's coming January 15th. And this was one of those things that was originally announced with Disney Plus. And like I said, when they launched, I think it was like Star Wars shows, Marvel shows, come get them, right? And then they really only had Mandalorian and, The Simpsons and like some of the stuff from the Disney Vault. And it was still pretty good. And it was easy to kind of, troll through a little bit and find something for the evening maybe. But now, I mean, this is their like, okay, you're not going to this is the only thing you're going to be plugging into for the next 2 years.
It sure feels like it, doesn't it? I mean, they dropped trailers for a new trailer for WandaVision, first full trailer for Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yes, which again, that was something that was announced early, and I think a lot of people might have thought when they were signing up they were getting it.
Yeah.
right? And then like, when are we getting it? And then now we get a trailer and we have a date.
The spigot is on now.
Exactly. And I'm certain the pandemic didn't help, but Falcon and Winter Soldier is coming March 19th, 2021.
Falcon and Winter Soldier was actually supposed to come first among the Marvel. Like, it was supposed to be this past November. Mm-hmm. And then they halted production because of the pandemic, and then they went back and finished.
Okay.
And then Loki show. So you got those are the three big Marvel shows.
Yeah. And we still have Black Widow on the schedule for May 7th, 2021. But they have not said anything about Disney Plus that I'm aware of.
No,
but,
I think they're still hoping that'll just be theatrical.
And then following that, we have Loki, which is May 2021. And that's something, obviously, that was set up in the movie. Right?
Yeah.
Gets the Tesseract and disappears, but we finally got a trailer for it, which looks kind of cool.
It looks fun. I liked the trailers for both Falcon and Winter Soldier and Loki.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I like the Lethal Weapon vibe from right.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, there's the whole like I hate it when he does that kind
Yeah.
of thing. And that line made me think, like, what if they made a buddy cop series where they were just like absolutely got along all the time and like finish each other's sentences and like, I really think we should bust Mendoza. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Let's go. And they like jump in the car. Like, wouldn't that be a funny different take?
Like they actually are buddies.
Yeah,
That's funny.
Yeah, or it would be kind of funny if it got to the point where it was just annoying because they got along so well.
Well, that's why you got to have the friction.
Yeah, exactly.
What's interesting is first of all, like at the very least, there's precedent for them being sort of combative because we've
Yes.
seen that in the Civil War movie. But I read an interview with either it was Anthony Mackie or Sebastian Stan, I can't remember who, but they were talking about how like they're not friends. They have like a mutual friend.
Right.
And it's like, what happens when you take that mutual friend out and they got to, they're not like, come on, let's solve crimes together. It's like they have a specific mission that they come together on. And I'm like, well, we've been down this road with enough movies. We get it. Like that's but obviously we know that by episode 6 or whatever it is, they'll be, they'll be Riggs and Murtaugh.
Yeah, exactly. And
At
that's
the-
a great
at the end of
organic
Legal.
setup for that
Yeah.
trope. Yeah. But real quick, just sort of blasting through the Marvel stuff because we've got a lot of Star Wars stuff still.
Oh, yeah.
But blah 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 blah.
Well, here's one, Brian. This is
Yeah.
this is one that I saw the announcement for, and I really like this. It's Armor Wars.
Yeah, this is interesting.
So this is a miniseries. Now, I was a big Iron Man fan in the 80s and 90s. So this is actually an Iron Man storyline starring Tony Stark. It's called Armor Wars, and it's right. And it basically it's Tony Stark finds out that like a terrorist used his technology in committing like an atrocity. Mm-hmm. And so he realizes that somebody has hacked into his system and stolen his technology and sold it to all these terrorists.
Okay.
So he basically he starts tracking down his armor or his technology, and one by one he starts disabling it. Mm-hmm. And it puts him at odds with the U.S. government because they also are using armor that even if it's not based on his, it could potentially be leveraged against his. Mm-hmm. And so it becomes like Iron Man versus everyone, right? Mm-hmm. And so again, this is a great story from the comics. And so they've announced that this is going to be an MCU set series on Disney Plus, but obviously we have no Tony Stark, so they have, in lieu of Tony Stark, we have James Rhodes, War Machine. And I read the premise, and I'm like, well, I love John Cheadle in that role, and I want to see more of him. And I'm like, this is perfect. It's a great setup. Like, after Tony Stark is dead, Rhodey finds out his technology is being used. And so, like, to honor his friend, he's going to make sure that it's not abused. Like, that's a great setup for a series.
I gotta say, when I was going through all of these announcements, this was sort of buried in there. And I was like, wow, this insane series starring Don Cheadle is there's so much here that this is a thing that's sort of like easy to
Right.
pass over. I mean, that sounds like an event itself.
Right.
Yeah, so much stuff. And I gotta say, I mean, everything that I've seen so far looks like top tier,
Yeah.
right? Going back to Loki, by the way, I forgot about this. Owen Wilson features pretty prominently in the
that's right.
trailer. That just made me happy.
Right.
I love Owen Wilson.
Eventually, the MCU will encompass everyone. The singularity will eventually,
Yeah, it, like the joke could be sort of like a Kevin Bacon 6 Degrees sort of thing, but eventually it'll be like, how are you related to the Marvel Universe?
Right.
Everybody. Secret Invasion is
Yeah.
another one that seemed like easy to sort of miss with all the flashier ones, but I mean, that's Ben Mendelsohn reprising his role from Captain Marvel as the, what do you call it? The
Talos, he's a Skrull.
Yeah, and I guess Sam Jackson's going to be in this also. That's a whole thing. She-Hulk with Tatiana Maslany. It sounded like for a minute she was possibly not going to be involved with this. but
Oh,
maybe that was a
everybody
misdirect.
denies this shit. You know how it is.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say, it was like a misdirect, and then they're like, yeah, well, we were saving it for today.
Mark Ruffalo is going to be in that, and they're bringing back Tim Roth from The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, as Abomination. That's going to be Disney Plus. And then this series, What If, which you know more about this, but this is an animated series, right? Where it's just sort of
Yes.
these one-offs.
So this is a comic series that's been around off and on since the 70s. And basically, every issue is what if. So, what if Uncle Ben didn't die? You know, what if Captain America got unfrozen before modern time or whatever? You know, and so you have a character called the Watcher, who monitors all alternate realities, and he's voiced in this series by Jeffrey Wright. Essentially, the Watcher's like your host. So he says, you know, in the timeline that we know, Steve Rogers became Captain America, but what if Peggy Carter got the super soldier serum? What would that look like? And then we watch that episode.
Crazy.
Yeah, and this will, by the way, Brian, this will be the last time that Chadwick Boseman plays T'Challa, because he voiced an episode of this. It's
that's going to be.
Yeah, it's kind of based on the trailer. It's what if instead of Peter Quill, T'Challa got taken into space and became Star-Lord.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, and so that is Chadwick Boseman's last performance in that role. Isn't that something?
Yeah. Wow. It's so funny. You would think Disney's paying me to say all this stuff. But, like, truly, like, all of this sounds really cool.
This is what I'm saying, man. I see people online still to this day fight over, I like DC and Marvel and MCU sucks and Zack Snyder, and I'm like, what's wrong with you guys? Like, we got Crisis on Infinite Earths over here. We got Michael Keaton coming back as Batman over here. We got a Spider-Man movie where Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland are all going to be Spider-Man.
Right.
We got a what if, like, you don't understand any of this. How, like, 10-year-old Zachy could never have dreamed that all of this would happen.
And I've been one of those people. I don't want to be that guy, but I've been one of those people that's gotten us slightly burnt out, you know, with sort of the superhero stuff. And it's more, and I'm realizing now, with a whole year without it. And you know what I'm saying? Like, and then when I saw these announcements, I was like, this all sounds great. I think it, for me, honestly I just needed distance. You know what I mean? But when you spread it out, and now I'm like, I'm ready. I'm chomping for it. So,
I mean, we were just talking about, like, they're doing essentially a live action Spider-Verse for the third Tom Holland Spider-Man movie.
Right.
And it's like, what are you kidding me? That's amazing.
Yeah, I know.
Right? Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, we're just gonna have all the previous Spider-Mans in here, and let's see how that goes.
Yeah, that's like the stuff that we would like fantasize about like 15,
right.
20 years ago. But you imagine an executive would think, well, general audience won't get this.
Well, I feel like we are basically 2 steps removed from Patton Oswalt's like filibuster that he did on Parks and Recreation. Remember that?
You know what's funny? If you had even said that to me 2 years ago, I'd be like, well, yeah, but I mean, not exactly that. But no, you're right. Like, we really are. I don't doubt at some point Luke Skywalker is going to bump into, you know,
Galactus
or something. Yeah, exactly.
So I think we covered the big Marvel bases, right?
The big Marvel stuff. We haven't even gotten to Lucasfilm. So Lucasfilm. Let's start with Indiana Jones.
Yes.
That was one of those things where it kept getting pushed, and we found out that David Koepp was writing it, but people weren't digging the script, and Steven Spielberg steps away, and at some point you start to think, and then with the pandemic this year, are we going to do this?
Yeah,
Should
right.
we do this?
Should we do this?
And so it turns out Harrison Ford's coming back. James Mangold's going to be directing it. This is going to go into production this coming spring, 2021, and it is set to be released July 2022. So, and this will be a finale.
Yeah, so they have said this is going to be the last one. That's it.
Yep.
Which, let me just say, it will not be the last one.
I think this...
It'll be Harrison Ford's last one for sure.
Someone had said that Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones, and I think that was, yes, right now, as the universe exists,
yes,
Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones. We're going to say the end. And then now, can't you imagine Indiana Jones in other stories? You know?
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
I think give it like 10 years,
Absolutely.
I think they. By the way, I was thinking, if to really cement that this is the last one, they should do like like Stallone did with where he called the last Rocky movie Rocky Balboa. They should just call this Henry Jones.
Ooh. I like that. Yeah, that's great.
No,
I like
and
that.
just Henry Jones. Actually,
Or
I would
Junior.
not
It
be.
could be called Junior.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they just call it Indiana Jones. Like,
Well, that was the logo that they showed.
yeah,
Obviously,
but
they're not
that felt
gonna
like a
do
placeholder title, though, right? Like,
I agree. But yeah.
I almost feel like if it is the last one, what better way to cement it than that?
Indiana Jones. Yeah. It's tough, actually. My mouth wants to say more.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones and the,
and the quest for the thermostat. He's just
Yeah.
going through the old folks' home looking to turn the heat down.
Yeah.
Or up,
And the quest for his favorite Afghan.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So this, honestly, the fact that they have cemented this is the last one, it makes me even more like, come on, Steve, just come back. Just do this last one. Come
I
on.
know. It's really hard for me to accept an Indiana Jones movie, especially like you say, if there's only one left.
Yeah.
I mean, his heart must really not be in it.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, well, shit, jeez.
He seems like one of the last of the people who kind of stays tight-lipped about things. He won't do director's commentaries, and he appreciates the mystery and the magic of films. Mm-hmm. But I would really love to hear. I've said this before. I would love to hear what Ready Player One was all about. Like, it was a whiz bang spectacle, but it didn't feel like it had a lot of soul. And I'm just curious why he spent the time that he has on it.
Yeah.
And then likewise, then why isn't he doing Indiana Jones? Because it seems like he's not he's not excited about doing adventure and action so much anymore.
Yeah.
So then I don't understand Ready Player One.
Yep. Hey, I'm with you there.
But by the way, West Side Story was supposed to be coming out this month. They haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah, that's kind of so. That's just kind of sitting in a drawer somewhere. That means. Mm-hmm. Wow.
I wonder.
Okay.
I mean, that must be a whole other negotiation, right?
Yeah. Good
He
point.
strikes me as a theater guy, but maybe not the guy who would go out there and talk up something like Nolan.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyway, so Star Wars. I gotta say, just as like a little bit of editorializing here, when Star Wars was first, new movies were announced, it was like, yeah, and then they started arriving, and then we all started nitpicking them, and then it was like, I don't know, like, what are they doing to Star Wars? And I'm not saying I said that I felt that sometimes I loved it. It was all over the place. But now that we've broken through that barrier, and like Star Wars is just going to keep coming, I'm like here for it. Like reading all this stuff, I was like, I want to watch all of this.
Right?
Like it's just like such going out of the gate was difficult to accept, and not everything. Star Wars was just so built into marble as this thing that everybody adored.
Yep.
That anything that had to stand next to that marble statue was never going to hold up. Just never going to do it.
Yep.
And so now that I've gotten used to the idea of new Star Wars content, and it isn't as, no, this is Star Wars and that's it, and we love it. I'm down. I'm down. Even watching The Mandalorian this morning, I just watched the latest episode this morning, and I'm like, I just love being in this place. I love being in this universe.
Let me just say, first of all, I mean, I think this season, has, like, I liked the first season, but I felt it was kind of disposable.
First season.
And this season really makes me appreciate all the groundwork that they laid last year.
Right.
Because they're really like, they've expanded. I mean, they've made like a very compelling meta narrative inside the show, but they're also expanding the Star Wars universe. Mm-hmm. And that's what I really like. Like this latest one, I don't know about you, but just Bill Burr talking to, what's his name? That guy, Joe Chill from Batman Begins, whatever his name is, in the cafeteria.
Oh, wow. Is that who that was?
Yeah, that's that guy.
Ah.
I mean, just they're like sitting at a table talking, and it was riveting.
I entirely agree. And his whole take, I mean, we just accept that there are wars happening.
Yeah,
you know, but we finally get to see people having opinions on them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right, and that was really fascinating, and I liked that. I liked the drama and the tension that created with his like you said, I had to get something off my chest. I enjoyed seeing someone carrying that, and then just they couldn't hold it in any longer. Their feelings.
Yeah,
And it was just
exactly.
we haven't seen that sort of thing explored through characters in the Star Wars universe, and it was really cool.
I agree.
Yeah. Also, someone else pointed out that episode was a lot like the movie Sorcerer, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. Like with the volatile explosives in the
See,
back and trying
need
to
watch
transport the
Sorcerer.
vehicle.
I need to
I was
watch
like,
it.
oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Star Wars. Oh man, lots of TV shows here. So Ahsoka, who we just got introduced, I say, 2 episodes ago?
Yep.
Right, with Rosario Dawson. Damn, I'm talking so much like. With Rosario Dawson as the live action incarnation of this. She's going to get her own spin-off series. These are just Mandalorian spin-offs, by the way. Then we're also getting Rangers of the New Republic.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
So, I mean, like Space Cowboys, I guess? Question mark. But, yeah. The Gina Carano character from Mandalorian just got some sort of badge, right?
So you think it's
So
going to
maybe-
focus on her?
Or at least whatever. Maybe she'll play into it somehow, or maybe she'll be like the bridge to it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But those are just the Mandalorian spin-offs. And then Mandalorian 3 will be arriving Christmas 2021. So that's already
Okay. Oh, wow.
happening.
Okay.
And then we got the Andor series, Cassian Andor from Rogue One, played by Diego Luna.
This one I'm looking forward to.
That's coming Disney Plus 2022. And
Now, this is set. I mean, it would be before Rogue One, but how far before Rogue One?
I don't know, but I mean, it's kind of cool. It makes me think of like the early Revolutionary War sort of thing, like the network of spies,
Yeah.
kind of thing down in the dirt. I kind of like that idea. But yeah, I guess this is pre-Death Star, right? Because don't they discover that in that movie?
That's correct. Yeah.
So,
You know what I hope, Brian? And maybe this is just because I'm like in the middle of NYPD Blue right now, but I hope this gives us an opportunity to get more with Jimmy Smits as Bail Organa.
oh, dude, I'm all about that. I really wanted to get more endeared to that character and understand his role a little bit more, knowing that that's Leia's, stepfather. Or
Yeah.
not stepfather. What do you call it?
Adopted father. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great. Why don't you email them?
Actually, by the way, only tangentially going back to the Armor Wars, if they do not use that as an opportunity to bring back Sam Rockwell, that would be a deep miscarriage of justice.
There's something called the Acolyte. And
Yeah, so-
I don't. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Are we both confounded by this?
I think we are, yeah.
I guess it's a Star Wars mystery thriller series. Yeah. People speculating that it could have something to do with Darth Plagueis. Who knows?
What I'm seeing is it could be about the rise of Palpatine, possibly. So that would mean Darth Plagueis.
Like pre-Phantom Menace?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It says here. Oh, you know what? So I guess Disney wants to really explore what they're calling the High Republic era, which is set like 1,000 years before Star Wars.
Right.
So I guess this would be set during that time.
Cool. That'll be cool. Man, I'm all about it. I want to see more Jedi. Man, what else?
Well, Obi-Wan.
There's two animated series. Oh yeah. Well, I was gonna save that for last, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just real quick, yeah, a droid story, which I think is going to have C-3PO and R2-D2 in it. I wonder if
That's
it's going to be like droids. Remember that?
Yeah, if they can bring back the theme song from that show,
I don't remember it.
I would be. It's like sung by, somebody kind of well known.
Tiffany?
No, it's like oh my god, I'm gonna look it up. It's
Which,
Stuart Copeland.
wait.
It's
How do I know that name? Isn't that an editor?
from the Police.
Oh, right. right.
Yeah, he's sang that song. It's called Trouble Again.
Oh, wow, funny.
So if they can incorporate that theme song, that'll be
Zaki's in. Otherwise,
I'm in, baby.
keep walking.
Yeah, but they're bringing back Anthony Daniels.
Yeah, good for him.
You know, you know, what's funny is I hear Anthony Daniels is kind of a dick, and I've heard it from enough people that I do believe there's probably some stock to that.
Oh, interesting.
But on the other hand, you gotta admire the guy's hustle.
Hey, man, I mean, he's been able to play C-3PO in so many different incarnations throughout the years.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you would have told him back in 1976,
right,
when he's in Tunisia wearing that thing, like, hey, listen up, in 2020 and beyond, you'll still be doing this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, good thing to have job security, you know.
Oh, yeah. And then lastly with the animated, there's something called Star Wars Visions, which is going to be anime creators.
Yes.
Recreating, I guess, moments from the Star Wars galaxy through an anime lens, which actually sounds cool.
They also, by the you didn't mention, but the Bad Batch, they dropped the trailer for that.
Oh, I haven't seen that. What
Yeah,
this comes from Clone Wars,
this
right?
this is like a sequel to Clone Wars because there's like a group of clones that were not affected by Order 66.
Mm-hmm.
So they're the bad. I thought it was the Bad Bitch, and it was like a drag queen bounty hunter or something, but no, it's totally different. Not starring
That's
RuPaul. No, but it's post Clone Wars, post Revenge of the Sith, I think, and it's about this group of clones who are sort of, you know, trying to make their way in a galaxy that no longer has room for them.
That sounds cool. And by the way, I'm going to watch Clone Wars. I think that's my next series.
I've been on you about that forever, right?
I know. I think once Mandalorian ends, that'll be my thing. Okay, and then obviously the one I think you and I are most excited about probably is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
The series. And we knew this was happening. We knew Ewan McGregor was going to be a part of it. That was all very exciting. But we just learned that Hayden Christensen is coming back as Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So the question has been, like, is it going to be him in the suit?
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, well, I don't know. But I feel like you don't get Hayden Christensen unless we're going to see him as Anakin Skywalker.
I agree because he's not the voice.
Yeah.
Right? James Earl Jones is the voice. But
that's right.
His face is pretty messed up, too, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think Ewan McGregor wasn't his quote. I'm sure this was like wink, wink, but he's like, yeah, they'll have a few swings at each other or something. So maybe we'll even see them square off.
You know, what's interesting to me is the implication is they're going to have some kind of a rematch, right? Mm-hmm. And people are saying, well, that doesn't square with canon.
That was the first thing that ran through my head. I was trying to remember their dialogue.
Yeah, well, in Star Wars, Vader is like, when last we met, you were the teacher or some sort, you know, now I am the master.
Now I'm the master, yeah.
But I thought about that and I was like, okay, yeah. But then the other thought I had is in Return of the Jedi, when Luke first confronts Vader, this is on Endor, Luke is like, you know, I forget the exact thing he's saying, but he's like, you know, there's still good in you or whatever. And Vader says, Obi-Wan once thought as you did. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
So based on Revenge of the Sith, there's nothing explicitly in there about Obi-Wan trying to bring him back. Mm-hmm. So there is room for something.
Yeah, he didn't say when I last saw you on that old volcano.
After you cut my legs off, you so-and-so. You know?
Yeah, I was just going to say so-and-so. I wonder if Nicolas Cage will explore the meanings behind that. The old so-and-so. Ah.
So this is going to be like 6 episodes, they said?
That I don't know.
This is like a
it's
finite
a limited
thing.
Series. It's not. I don't think it's going to be a continuing series.
Yeah, they've said that previously. This is like a one and done.
Yeah, but I am super thrilled for this.
I mean, the cool thing to me is, like, if assuming each episode is about an hour, and I guess that maybe is too much of an assumption based on The Mandalorian. But let's say that's still, like, at the end of this leaves us with like an Obi-Wan Kenobi trilogy, basically.
Yeah.
So that's
I'm super stoked. I've definitely learned to calibrate what I expect from the different things that I get. right? Like, so the TV series is like this, and the films are like that.
Yep.
But I gotta admit, I've got real high expectations for this Obi-Wan series.
I think everyone
I really
does.
hope this is like you say. I mean, I hope this is pretty much what we would think of as worthy of Obi-Wan's own trilogy.
Yep, I totally agree. I also think, I mean, I think chronologically it would be set at roughly the same time as the Cassian Andor series. So
Oh,
there's
yeah.
there's an opportunity for one to seed something that's paid off in the other, in some way. I mean, not explicitly, but at least obliquely, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and then I think one of the biggest announcements was obviously they're going to continue with the theatrical stories, and we
Yeah.
didn't know what was going to come next, and now we do. December 22nd, 2023, we're going to get Rogue Squadron from
Yeah.
Patty Jenkins. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
Sign me up. But I guess in this video that they released, Jenkins was talking about that she's the daughter of a fighter pilot.
yeah,
And so she's used to seeing jets blasting overhead, and it's a big part of, her growing up. And apparently, I guess her father was killed during his service, and it was like her mission to one day make, this is her quote, the greatest fighter pilot movie of all time. And so she's been sort of searching for this story, and she says she finally found it in Rogue Squadron. So
makes you wonder.
I know. See, it's funny because the other Star Wars films had this thread, right, where it was about this person, right, like the Skywalkers. And so with Rogue Squadron, I mean, I'm picturing sort of like Top Gun in space,
Yep.
but I know it's got to be more than that. They're going to have some sort of crazy heart to it and some character and whatever the adventure is, and it's going to be more than just X-wings whipping past. So, I love it, man. I'm still into those, the X-wings and the TIE fighters and all that imagery. I can't wait.
I'm curious when this is set.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I said this on Twitter. I think my preference would be post Rise of Skywalker,
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah.
because I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
let's move the timeline forward, and without having to, the weight of another saga movie, right? Mm-hmm. Of just like, well, what is? I mean, I don't know about you. I'm curious. Like, what does the world look like? The universe look like after the First Order? Mm-hmm. / the Empire 2 or whatever, whatever the Final Order, I think they called it.
Yeah, that makes sense, because with the series you can explore the cracks and the in-betweens of what we know and the timeline we know, but in the movies, why not just firmly go to a new period?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like the thing about the sequels is obviously like we have to sort of look at them as like, well, this is what they are, and that's what do you do, right? Mm-hmm. But it is such a missed opportunity that they didn't really do any of the world building that you would expect from these trilogies.
What do you mean? Specifically?
I mean, I feel like you watch the original Star Wars trilogy and you have a clear sense of the universe they exist within. And
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
and same with the prequels. I mean, the world building was not the problem with those films, right? And I've said this elsewhere, but with the sequels, we jump ahead 30 years, and it's 30 years after what was a fairly definitive ending, or a decisive victory. And 30 years later, we're basically right back where we were.
Right, with not a lot of explanation.
Yeah.
They just sort of expect you to understand the shorthand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you get it on one level, like on the corporate side, because we want to get it back to that thing that people love. Mm-hmm. But the downside is it's the heavy lifting is being left to like the Mandalorian is clearly laying the pipe for the First Order.
Right.
And so, high level, when all is said and done, you'll be able to say, oh, well, here's what happened. And we see it in seasons 1 through 4 of this and whatever. They'll fill it in. We all know that. Mm-hmm. But that is work that the movies should have done.
Right. Right.
I mean, when you think about it, like, it is kind of insane that there is nothing in the movies that clearly says why the First Order came into being.
Right. Like after the Empire fall, we all thought, well, this could never happen again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nuts
Yeah.
There is. I mean, seriously, there is a whole comic book storyline, like the fall of Ben Solo or whatever, the rise of Kylo Ren, whatever it's called. Mm-hmm. It's the origin of Kylo Ren, and I'm like, how was that not at least alluded to in the movies?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, it's, and again, I want to be very clear. This is not me being like, and the sequel sucked or whatever. I'm not saying that, but I'm like, it is bananas that we don't get any of the ramp up to make that redemption really work the way it should.
Right. Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I wonder too. I mean, they came right out of the gate. They had a lot of pressure on them. I'm sure they overthought. And here we are. I'm sure lessons learned. And I wonder if all of this stuff that they've plotted out now is with a lot of hindsight in mind and listening to what fans want and are interested in. And that's why we're getting a lot of these side characters getting movies that you may not have thought they would have 5-6 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so lots of fun stuff happening. I said this when we talked about The Rise of Skywalker, which, by the way, a year ago, like exactly, came out, right? I was like, people are going to call this fan service. I'm like, at this point, that's what Star Wars is. It is fan service. So give me the fan service.
Yeah, I can't remember if you and I said that. I think we were talking about it with the. I think I kept it as a spoiler the last time we talked about Mandalorian, but basically they bring back this major character if you haven't seen it, and we were talking about fan service, and at this point I'm like, that's just what I want. Like, I'm getting giddy by the fan service, so I'm realizing, like, let's not make it a pejorative anymore. Like,
yeah, I mean, look,
good fan service, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna just settle for anything, but I want to see what I want to see.
Here's the thing. So first of all, Brian's talking about Boba Fett. I don't think it's even a spoiler. So if you consider that
Zaki
a spoiler,
Hassan at Zaki Zaki.
I don't. Well, here's why I don't consider it a spoiler.
I'm just kidding.
Because we saw him already early in the season.
Oh, good call. Yeah.
So he is back, and I don't think it's a spoiler to say he's a badass.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And without getting into anything specific, to me, we get one episode where it's just Boba Fett being the character that fans have like imagined in their heads since like 1980.
Yeah.
That we never, because he was a total wuss in Return of the Jedi.
Right.
He went out like a punk,
just like out of Three Stooges. Yeah.
So the fact that Robert Rodriguez, by the way, directed that episode, and he's like, okay, let's just go dial up the badass level to like 15. And give fans the character that they've never seen on screen. And you kind of say, okay, well, that's what this show is doing. I see no problem with that.
Well, and then with this most recent episode, I think episode 15, there's a moment where Mandalorian is talking with the Bill Burr character, and Boba Fett's just standing watch at the foot of his ship, and he's completely doing the posture, right, that we've seen him do in the original trilogy. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's Boba Fett. I
saw a meme, the Leonardo DiCaprio meme from
Once Upon a Time,
where he's pointing at the screen. It's like Star Wars fans as soon as that ship showed up.
Yeah, yep. And it's, oh man, and they did that awesome bomb. From Attack of the Clones. Yeah.
What I love is we see Boba Fett, and he's like, I forget the exact thing, but he's like my father before me. And I'm like, that's what Luke says. Right? But he's talking about Jango Fett. And I love how, even though I remember watching Attack of the Clones and being like, what a shit character Jango Fett was. Right. Being like, he's talking about Jango Fett. That's so cool.
Yeah, I know. Give it 20 years. And I was having that very thought this morning. And that's what I mean about fan service, too. With like him using those explosives. I was like, I know that thing, and it's awesome.
So we are not in any way objective, folks. That's the takeaway here.
Sorry,
we have embarrassed ourselves for the last 45 minutes, and then Disney's doing this, and then they're doing this, and this, and this, and this, and this.
Hey, we like what we like. Oh, what was the other thing he said when they were going to try to infiltrate the Imperial base? And Boba Fett's like, yeah, they might be familiar with my face.
Yeah, right.
Or something like that. I was like, yeah, that's great.
Well, and Tamura Morrison is like such a good actor, right? So
He's great.
the fact that like they bring him back, and because I remember thinking like he was good, it's just they didn't give the character anything to do, and it's like it really does feel like this is the fulfillment of the promise that like 18 years ago that we saw with Jango Fett, Good stuff. Yeah, I'm excited.
Good stuff. Fun time to be a fan of geeky
Stuff.
things.
Yeah, it's true.
Yep.
So I think that wraps us up here, right?
I'm sure I missed something, and I'm sorry for the thing I missed for the people that were excited about that news, but I think that was the majority of it, yeah.
When we got on, my wife was like, "How long are you going to be on?" I'm like, "I don't know, maybe like an hour or so."
Right.
Yeah, not so much. We had a lot to cover. Mm-hmm. Well, we'll be back next week, and by then you and I will both have seen Tenet.
Yeah.
So we got there either super late or, depending on the way the movie works, super early. Because time is a flat circle.
That's good.
So we'll talk about Tenet next week, and then before the year ends, we will watch Star Wars: The Force Awakens and do our usual Star Wars December commentary track.
That's going to be a fun one. That's going to be a fun one.
So we've been talking about doing Tremors. That is still the plan. We're going to kick that to just after the new year, and that I'm looking forward to going through that one too.
Same.
So if anyone has any questions or comments for us, please send them to moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit like on our Facebook page and message us there, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast. If you're looking for me, you can find me on Twitter @Zacky's Corner. That's ZAKIS Corner. Also, look out for my Season 2 review of The Mandalorian at the San Francisco Chronicle, which should be up, later in the week, as you're listening to this, but that's coming soon. How about you, Brian? What do you have going on?
Well, I was just going to say, I can't wait to read that.
Thank you.
I'm working, maybe I'm a shill. I'm working over at Disney with the Puppy Dog Pals Cinematic Universe. And
Not to be confused with Paw Patrol.
No, please. No, if Officer Koharski's listening. We just had our holiday episode drop, so Christmas and Hanukkah package, and that was a lot of fun. So yeah, check it out. Disney Plus, Disney Junior.
Nice. And as always, please go to iTunes and leave a review, leave a star rating. Every little bit helps. If you want to give us a present before the end of the year, if you like the show, please leave a review for us. It would mean the world to Brian. Really to Brian. It's about Brian's feelings. I think you're hurting his feelings. He's a good boy. He's a good boy.
Please. He's a good boy.
And with that, on behalf of my partner, Brian Hall, this has been Movie Film 214. My name is Zaki Hassan, and we will catch you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.